prominent Hindu leader and ISKCON monk Chinmoy Krishna Das Brahmachari has reportedly been detained in Dhaka by police under the regime of Mohammad Yunus in Bangladesh. After ISKCON was deemed a terror group earlier this month, the Bangladeshi authorities filed a sedition case against Chinmoy Krishna Das. The Hindu leader faces charges of sedition following his role in leading a massive rally protesting targeted hate attacks against the Hindu community. Chinmoy Krishna Das has been vocal against violence against Hindus and other religious minorities in Bangladesh. Violence against Hindus and other minorities has enveloped the country since the ouster of former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. The detention of Das is not an isolated incident. It's part of a larger pattern of persecution that Hindus face in Bangladesh. Let's listen in to what the ISKCON seer said just a few days back.
আমাদের প্রিয় জন্মভূমি এই বাংলাদেশ আমরা যে ভূমি ছেড়ে যেতে চাই না আমরা এই ভূমির ভূমিপুত্র এবং সনাতনী সমস্ত জনগোষ্ঠীর কাছে অনুরোধ করব যে কোনো সময় আমাকে হয়তো গ্রেফতার করা হতে পারে আপনারা ঐক্যবদ্ধভাবে এই আন্দোলনকে অব্যাহত রাখবেন।
Now, the opposition in India time and again raises issues of human rights, is however mum on these atrocities that are being inflicted on Hindus in Bangladesh. Listening to some of the political reactions coming in.
बांग्लादेश में माइनॉरिटी माने हिंदुओं का परसेंटेज था 28% और आज आके हिंदुओं का परसेंटेज हो गया है 7.65% अप्रोक्सीमेटली। और आज जो चिन्मय कृष्ण ब्रह्मचारी का नेतृत्व में जो हिंदुओं का जो आंदोलन हो रहा था बांग्लादेश में, आज उसका जो वो फेस थे हमारे ये चिन्मय कृष्ण ब्रह्मचारी। इसी के लिए धमकाने के लिए और डराने के लिए और हिंदुओं का मुंह बंद करने के लिए आज बांग्लादेश पुलिस ब्रह्मचारी चिन्मय कृष्ण दास को आज उठा के अरेस्ट करके लेके गए।
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining us on the show, Sushant Sareen, Senior Fellow of ORF, Professor Monijit Bandal is political analyst joining us, and from debate number 1, Tehseen Poonawala, Shashank Shekhar continue. Tehseen, let me begin with a simple statement. You know, end of the day, when it comes to Gaza, we see leaders, top leaders of the Congress party, other opposition parties, come out and express their sympathies with what's happening over there. And perhaps, everybody has any right to express their humanitarian concern in any part of the world. That's perfectly fine. And anybody can have their ideological priorities and preferences. But right next door, what's happening in Bangladesh, why are we seeing no statements coming in at the moment, at least, when it comes to this shocking incidents that have taken place with this ISKCON seer, Mr. Das?
First of all of us as Indians, irrespective of what political ideology we belong to, stand by Chinmoy Krishna Das G, and we hope that he's released immediately by the Bangladesh CID, which has illegally abdicated him, and we don't know where he is in an undisclosed location. More importantly, I seriously wish I was the foreign minister of India. I seriously wish, instead of making reels, I would have rushed to Dhaka and done some job. I seriously wish I was the Prime Minister of India. I thought the Prime Minister of India would have, if Donald Trump can speak about it, if Israel, we want to emulate Israel, who can take action, what has the Prime Minister done? I am for the 4th time on a debate on Bangladesh. I've been on a debate in Canada, I've been on a debate in England. Time and again, Hindus are attacked. We have the weakest government in the history of India with regards to Hindus. They can do nothing. Their spine is like a molten eclair. This is the weakest government since independence. They cannot guard our Hindus across the globe.
All right, Radhika Khera, BJP spokesperson, also joining us on the panel, but I'd get in Sushant Sareen first. Sushant Sareen, is there a point in what is being made by Tehseen? Does he have a valid point, and is there anything that can be done diplomatically by India to secure the interests of Hindus, particularly prominent seers such as Mr. Das?
I think what Tehseen is doing is the classical, tactic of trying to put the onus upon the government of India, as though the genocide of Hindus in Bangladesh is the handiwork of the government of India. And unless it's Tehseen's case that India should invade Bangladesh, send in its army, how strange it is to say that the foreign minister should go to Bangladesh immediately. On what grounds? Is that how foreign policy works? Number one. Number two, the Prime Minister has spoken about it. The Prime Minister has spoken to, including to the Nobel Peace Laureate about it. But yes, to the extent that I think India needs to be a lot more harsher with Bangladesh over how the minorities are being treated. We need to call the bluff of this charlatan called Muhammad Yunus, who prances about like a Nobel Peace Laureate. I think we need to call him out, because every time he's confronted with the facts of how the Hindus are being genocided in Bangladesh, he says, well, these are just exaggerations. These are not exaggerations. There is a systematic pogrom taking place. Now, Madhav, the irony is that everybody says that, it's the Islamist fundamentalists and fanatics who are responsible for what is happening to the Hindus in Bangladesh. Actually, that's not the case. It is the so-called liberal, so-called secular Bangladeshi who is just as complicit in the genociding of the Hindus and the ethnic cleansing of the Hindus that has taken place in Bangladesh over the last 50 years as the Islamists are. The Islamists are at least, one thing I'll give to the Islamists, at least they're upfront about it.
Right.
They don't hide their evil designs. They don't hide them.
Right. Let me just bring in fact, Radhika Kera, who's just joined the panel. Radhika, before you came in, Tehseen was raising questions, and I just want to read out a tweet of Shuvendu Adhikari, who's BJP leader, and he has, of course, talked about renowned firebrand leader Shri Chinmoy Krishna Das Prabhu, who's been abducted by the detective branch at Dhaka airport. He's leading the fight for survival and dignity of Hindu minorities in Bangladesh. The Bangladesh Sanatani community fear that Mr. Yunus's radical regime has stooped to any level, even eliminate perceived threats to its authority, urging Dr. S. Jaishankar Ji to take note of the matter and take urgent steps. So there's pressure, of course, on statements coming in from opposition voices, which Tehseen represents, but at the same time, there is pressure building within the BJP also.
Good evening to all. And as far as the Bharatiya Janata Party is concerned and our foreign policy is concerned, it's right on track. Prime Minister has been keeping a vigilant check on what is happening in Bangladesh. And trust me, we are not going to let any Hindu go through something if it is in our hands. And let it be Hindu, if they are our neighbors, it shouldn't be happening to anyone. We talk about sabka saath, but it was nice to see how Tehseen was getting so hyper about that we should just go over to Bangladesh and do this and do that. He skipped out the times when Jaishankar Ji has met the concerned people in Bangladesh, reached these issues, and he met them in New York and all the meetings, and they've constantly been tracking and watching and trying to handle the situation. But I'd like to ask Tehseen, has he shown this kind of emotional outburst and this anger to Rahul Gandhi, to Priyanka Vadra, to Madam Sonia Gandhi, to Mr. Jairam Ramesh or Mr. Pawan Khera, who have all tweeted on Gaza, who have all tweeted on Palestine, but not one word have we seen, not one word has uttered from any Congress's mouth on Bangladeshi Hindus. Why? Are they not, now they're not concerned? You can tell us and give us gyan, we should do this, we should do that. Why are you not so agitated and angry, Tehseen, about Rahul Gandhi tweeting on Gaza and Palestine and not tweeting about Bangladeshi Hindus? I'm sure you can get Priyanka Vadra at least to tweet on that, but no anger on that. So I think this is something that needs to be looked into. Just 30 seconds.
Sure.
The ISKCON community has helped thousands and lakhs of people in Bangladesh during the Corona. During Corona, they did not see kaun Musalman hai, kaun Hindu hai. It is a sad situation in Bangladesh that they are attacking their own people. They may be Hindus, but they're not Indians or Pakistanis or Chinese. They are their own people.
Okay.
So this is something that they need to also handle. And thank God for India, who has not voted. Thank God for Maharashtra.
All right. Let me bring in Tehseen now. There are two panelists who've not even spoken yet. Very quickly,
I'll respond to both. I hope Sushant Sareen always remains to advise when I'm in government, except that he should not defend the wrongdoings. Yes, in 1971 there was a genocide and India intervened. I'm not saying India invade Bangladesh, nor did I say that. I said it's an unprecedented situation right now where our Hindus are being attacked in Bangladesh, and it requires for unprecedented action. If the external affairs minister is not free from making reels, at least ask the High Commissioner to react. Have somebody react. The Prime Minister's hollow words have clearly led to no action. Point number 2. My friend Radhika said, why doesn't Priyanka Ji do this or Rahul Ji do this? The day Rahul Ji and Priyanka Ji are Prime Minister, I promise you, Radhika, I will ask questions of them. Right now, this is an unprecedented emergency.
So,
and Monk has been kidnapped, and it is the duty of India to make sure he's released. It is the duty of India.
Okay. Radhika.
What is Rahul Gandhi's duty as leader of opposition to go and drop his mother in Himachal and not being present there for the first day of parliament when it starts? Is that his duty as leader of opposition? To run away from parliament? Where is Rahul Gandhi today? Is it his duty as leader of opposition to tweet on Gaza and Palestine and not tweet on the neighbors' situation in Bangladesh and Hindus being killed over there? No, that is not his call of duty as leader of opposition. As leader of opposition, it is his responsibility to tweet on Gaza and Palestine, but not on Bangladeshi Hindus. Sad that you are not holding him accountable and you only want to point fingers at the Prime Minister.
Okay.
Let's talk about nation first.
Yeah.
And talk about the situation which will affect our country because of what is happening in our neighbors. As leader of opposition, he has to be more responsible, and you can only question us when your own house is in order and you are walking the talk. If you can't walk the talk, don't question us.
Fair enough. Responsibility is a two-way street, Radhika Khera, that I think is well articulated. But let me bring in two other panelists. Professor Manojit Mandal, end of the day, it's very well to talk about minority rights, within our country, and there is nothing wrong. Everyone should be perhaps talking about it. But then why does it happen that when it happens in our neighborhood, when the rights of minorities are violated, when, well-known seers, priests such as Chinmoy Das, etc., the Chinmoy Krishna Das, I beg your pardon, when there's action taken against them, why is it that then suddenly these minority rights and all such concerns seem to fade away? And not just for the Congress party, but several of the opposition party leaders, for instance.
I think we have been debating this issue for the last 6 months, and I have been telling consistently the same thing. The government of India has miserably failed to help the Bangladeshi government when it was in government, in terms of intelligence report, in some terms of its diplomatic towels, in terms of speaking to American friends. Everyone knows in this world the whole thing was orchestrated by United States of America. Who is Mr. Yunis? He is an avowed American stooge. Everyone knows. So now, at least for God's sake, I ask Mr. Modi, whose friend is now about to rule America, Donald Trump, let me speak to him and fix the matter. Forget about that. My friend Taishine was talking about the Bangladeshi High Commissioner. Has even that person summoned by the Foreign Ministry? Yeah. Who is sitting there in Delhi, few kilometers away from Prime Minister's house? Has even summoned that come and report what is actually happening in Bangladesh, where Hindus are being targeted systematically? Has it even that been done? Forget about speaking to Mr. Donald Trump and forget about Mr. Yunis. It's an abject failure on the part of India government in tackling this issue from the very beginning. And I have been telling this very, very consistently. When Mamtadi wanted to help 21st July from a political rally, you all made hullabulla out of that. Mamtadi just said, if someone is suffering, someone is getting tortured, we will shelter them. You made issue out of that. Now you are turning the whole table to the opposition.
Okay, Shashank, why could the government of India not even have called, for instance, the ambassador of Bangladesh? Why could that have not been done? That's a question from Professor Mandal.
Namaste, Madhavji and my fellow panelists. Madhavji, it is no doubt that government of India must act in a better manner here because Hindus are being persecuted. But we also need to look the other aspect. Why are they being persecuted? When this same government has brought or introduced CAA, the same opposition which is today targeting government of India has opposed that CAA. CAA would have got these minorities safeguarded from those Islamists living in those Islamic countries neighboring, which are neighboring India.
So the question is, Shashank, are you then saying that instead of 2014, the date should be brought up to 2024 for CAA? Is that what you're saying?
Definitely. But then we also need to see why only 2024. We need to see that this situation arose because Congress let India get partitioned. These countries have become the graveyard for... These countries have become graveyard for Hindu population. 1947 Pakistan, 1971 Bangladesh. And even before that, Bangladesh was East Pakistan. So the Hindu population of East Pakistan, which is now Bangladesh, has been declined.
Professor Mandal wants to respond. Professor Mandal wants to respond.
What have you done to save them? Just this narrative of CAA CA you don't know has limitation of 2024.
It must go away.
Please stop.
Will you support it? If it will go away, will you support it? If the limitation will go away, will you support it?
Okay, quick response. Closing comments. Radhika Khera, we are almost out of time. Gentlemen, just one second. Radhika Khera, very important point that's come up. At the end of this debate, if there is a provision such as CAA, it was brought in for precisely these situations, as the government has stated. Is it perhaps time to revisit the deadline or the date from 2014 to 2024?
You know,
quick
the
response,
minute
please.
we start doing that, the opposition will start screaming and howling, ki oh ho, you're throwing our people out of the country, you're anti-people. So they have to first decide what they want to stand for and what not. And the political analyst over here was talking about Mamta Didi wanted to initiate a march and do this. Well, please ask Mamta Didi to first keep her own house in order and then think about Bangladesh. She cannot run West Bengal. We've seen the condition of women there, so she should kindly concentrate on keeping Bangladeshi West Bengal women safe and then think about Bangladesh.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
She's been appointed for that. Let's work on that.
We'll have to wrap this debate here. Radhika Khera, Shashank Shekhar Jha, Sushant Sareen, Tehseen Poonawala, Professor Manojit Bandal. Thanks so much for joining us. All eyes on this developing story coming in from Bangladesh.